Hey everybody, Chip Collins, Collins Group Realty, coming to you this Sunday morning with a quick update of what's happening in the Low Country amid the coronavirus. I had a friend of mine on Facebook that kind of came up with a clever catchphrase, coastal distancing. We're seeing a big example of that. The May River was filled with boats. I think the whole area was filled with boats yesterday, as busy as any weekend we've ever seen in the summertime. And of course, we had a lot of beach activity that led actually to some concern within the local community because we had crowding that took place. High schoolers and spring break college kids and otherwise were coming together in close crowds on the beach. And so what that did is it led to the mayor of Hilton Head declaring that all public beaches in terms of access and parking lots will be closed for 60 days. And so that's now in effect and sort of changing the behavior of what's happening on the beach. So we're seeing people that are switching to golf, they're switching to running, walking, and other activities that we're seeing outside. So coastal distancing is certainly well in play here in the Low Country. And I also wanted to speak to the fact I was out running, one of my favorite activities, and I ran through the Lowe's parking lot the other day, one of my circuits, and they were filled with pallets of mulch. So I think they're preparing for people to spend a lot of time in the yards as they're spending more time around the house. Probably not a bad idea. Meanwhile, what's been happening in the marketplace is actually really positive and favorable, and maybe a little bit surprising amid what's happening. We're at a point where our market activity and our business activity is not mandated to necessarily be shut down. Social distancing is recommended. If offices can work remotely like ours is currently doing, that's encouraged, but not necessarily required. So we're actually seeing a good amount of activity, which is great because this year started off with about a 30% spike in online buyer activity. We were really, really impressed, and that built some amazing momentum coming into the year. And even through February, we saw a 17% increase in the number of new contracts that took place February of this year compared to February of last year. And the market momentum is continuing. It is down a little bit in terms of that trending, but it's still really, really encouraging. I think there were about 121 new transactions, new pending contracts that happened this last week. There were 165 new listings that came on the market this last week. So there is still plenty of behavior within the marketplace that's really, really encouraging. And so sort of some of the ways that we and I think other real estate agents and firms are responding, we're aiming to do business differently. There's a lot of Zoom interaction. You can do on-site consultations via Zoom, listing appointments via Zoom. You can do FaceTime walkthroughs of properties and showings. Of course, everything is paperless now. Documents and signing are all digital and paperless. And the key thing now is just paying attention to what the other service providers are doing. Home inspectors, termite inspectors, closing attorneys, appraisers, etc. What is their behavior and who's getting into the mix and who's able to sort of flow with the way that things are in the new world of real estate. And so those are some of the things that we're doing. I mentioned that at Collins Group Realty, we've now moved to a fully remote workplace, fully operational. All staff are fully in place. All the agents are actually very, very busy. And one of the things that we're moving to, and I wanted to mention here today, is that we're moving to an online workshop series. We've been doing a lot of downsizing workshops, new buyer workshops and that sort of thing. And so we've got a new one that we're launching. It's actually starting off tomorrow, which is selling real estate amid the coronavirus. And you can sign up for that at www.collinsgrouprealty.com/workshop. There's a registration and information will be forthcoming about how we'll be running those series. We actually got several signups on that already, having just launched the marketing on that. And speaking of online activity, I would just like to ask, I know we all basically are hearing about shop local. Super, super important to shop local. Locally, restaurants are down to just dine out and carry out service. In fact, the governor just allowed yesterday for there to be carry out beer and wine for closed containers, probably a welcome enhancement to that already policy put in place. But it's important to shop locally. So I want to encourage you to shop locally with your real estate agent here in the Low Country. Use their website, which is always going to be the most current. It's going to be the most active. It's going to be the most accurate. instead of the national conglomerates, Zillow, Realtor.com, etc., which are fine sites, but they may become decreasingly reliable in terms of the active and most current data. So shop locally in that regard with your agent. If you don't have one, if you don't have a resource, of course, I'd be proud if you went to CollinsGroupRe.com. Amazing website, fully customizable, and would be a great resource for you. So just glad to come to you with another installment of our update of what's happening here in the Low Country. Most of all, please stay well, stay healthy, stay positive during these interesting times, and just look for more updates from us in the days ahead. Thanks.